Hey guys, it's your boy Zelfion XXL here from the Backup Chargers. Today we are going over developer stream spoilers for the brand new Merlin Recollection deck coming out in Phantom Monarchs. I also got Faceless Menace here as my co-host.
Hello. We're going over Spirit of Water today. It's really strong and draws 7 cards.
Draw 7 card, really good. Wish we had that in every other card game. Alright, so first going off here, we are doing Merlin Memorite Vassal. She's a level 1 assassin human champion with 19 health. Her on intro says you gain the Fractured Memories Mastery. You may pay to it. If you do, summon a Memorite Blade token. She also has an inherited effect for Merlin bonus. Is whenever an opponent recollects 3 or more cards, for every 3 cards recollected, they put a Sheen counter on a unit they control.
Sheen counters
as we'll get on the
real complicated, but they seem interesting.
Yeah. And you are good to go next.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna go over the context cards here. So the Memorite Blades are O2 Memorite assassin sword token weapons. They have weird typings, but basically you have to play a spell to give it +1 attack and trigger only once. So you do have to turn the swords on effectively. And then more importantly, the mastery basically says if your champion kills an ally, you put the Sheen counters that were on there onto the mastery, and then if your champion hits the other champion, you move all the Sheen counters from the champion onto the mastery, and as long as there's 3 or more counters moved, you deal 3 damage to that champion. So you basically are trying to stockpile them from all around the board onto your mastery.
Okay.
It's interesting. I have mixed feelings on these so far. I love the intent behind it. I feel like it might end up being a little slow with everything at some point, though. But we can go into that once we kind of come across it. You want to get the next one, Seep into the Mind?
Yep. We got Seep into the Mind, which is a 3-cost water slow speed mage spell. Target opponent puts 3 Sheen counters on a unit they control. Then, as a Merlin bonus with 6+ Sheen counters, you may look at that opponent's memory and discard a card from it, kind of giving you a pseudo extricating touch on top of that, putting Sheen counters. I believe the way they want to use Sheen counters is you're just basically stockpiling them for Merlin 3 to use some of her top-end Crux cards.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm figuring with stuff. I'm not a huge fan of this card because it just feels like a worse extricating touch to me. It's... I don't know. It being 3-cost slow and you have to work for the hand rip feels a little bad.
But it also depends. I guess we'll see as when the deck comes out, how fast are we able to prepare Sheen counters?
Yeah, because getting 3 Sheen counters on one specific thing is probably good, but the problem is your opponent still gets to choose where the Sheen counters go on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad card, just it feels a little awkward so far. We'll see how it goes. The next card is pretty cool, Obelisk Escort. It's a 3-cost slow speed, prepare 2, assassin spell, norm. So summon a Memorite Obelisk token with a Sheen counter on it, which is a new token ally. If it was prepared, you summon an additional one with a Sheen counter on it. So you can basically get
cool.
2 1/2s.
Basically, unless you have more, unless you can get more Sheen counters on them.
Yeah.
I think it kind of works sort of like a Dire Requiem in the same regard, where it wants to summon like 2 of them if it can.
Yeah, it seems pretty okay. You want to go over what the Obelisk is?
Yeah, so the Memorite Obelisk is a token Guardian Memorite Golem ally. Norm. Memorite Obelisk gets +1 strength and +1 health for each of up to 5 Sheen counters on it. And then on leave, you put X Sheen counters on your Fractured Memories, where X is the amount of Sheen counters that were on Memorite Obelisk.
Yeah,
Playing more into the generating Sheen.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because there's a couple cards that are like this in Merlin, and I love the idea of her just summoning an army of just random things. It's gonna be interesting how swarmy the deck can be. I feel like there is some build with that.
Kind of like a pseudo Tenoris build.
That's the vibes I'm getting, especially with it being a guardian golem.
Hmm.
I'd love to see other classes get access to these.
Oh yeah.
I'll
All right.
do the Merlin 2 on this one, and you'll get the Merlin 3.
Okay.
So Merlin 2, Amethyst Glow is as again, assassin, 22 health, level 2. On enter, you get 2 sheen counters on target unit. This is one of the few cards that lets you target where the sheen counters go. And you can pay 9 to draw a card and put a prep counter on Merlin. You can only activate it once. And it costs X less to activate, where X is the amount of sheen counters on your memories. So it really encourages you to want to just A, hold up cards, and B, take it a little slower going to level 3 because this is not inherited. So once you get
Right.
to level 3, you lose out on the potential draw from it, which is an interesting way of doing it.
The draw and prep. We haven't really seen too much as far as what she wants to do for prep, besides some of her creating memorites.
There is one really good card in here for prep, though.
Yeah. I'll go over the Shardforged Blade. It is a 1-cost Regalia Assassin Sword. It is a 1 attack, 3 durability. You may sacrifice a Memorite object while playing for this card memories to pay for that one instead. So sacrificing a Memorite Golem or some of the other Memorites that we'll see later.
Yeah, or the sword you get from level 1, potentially.
Mm-hmm. And then for Merlin bonus, it gets a +2 strength as long as the attacker is attacking an ally with 1 or more sheen counters on it. It's kind of unfortunate that this specifically targets an ally and not just anything that has sheen counters on it. But it's not bad for removing those that you have sheen counters on to try to quickly get those back onto you.
I think it's completely fine that it doesn't work against a champion because, I mean, just imagine you do this and first of all, this card just reads insane. It's effectively a 0-cost 3/3 for killing allies, which is really kind of crazy. But being able to if this was able to hit a champion, you'd be able to swing in for 3 and then trigger your mastery so that your little 0-cost sword hits for 6 effectively, which is a little too good.
That is fair.
It's still just solid, honestly. I like the card. I think this is probably the weapon for Merlin, other than the obvious main deck Excalibur that we're going to just slot in here. I guess we'll go over the new backup charger. So we got Prism Spire Scepter. On enter as a spell, it's a 0-cost. On enter as a spell, put 2 sheen counters on target champion you don't control as Merlin bonus. And then you can pay 3, banish it, draw a memory. Again, it's a backup charger that does a thing for your champ. So we've seen this with Pretentious Kongu. We've seen this with Windspire Crest to some degree. There is another backup charger effect that was spoiled for the main set as well that we'll go over. But they've been really leaning into this whole get an effect and then use it as a cost into memory, which just seems to be a really healthy way of doing things, I think.
Yeah, but it also helps that when Backup Charger, the initial card, first came out, it was so hard to get, and paying 3 to draw a card is huge. So it being on top of an ability that is good for the champion it's used for, I think is really nice and really encouraging more Backup Chargers and specific playstyles.
Yeah, I think this card is obviously it's a backup charger, so the worst case is it just does the thing. But
Yeah.
it does have to put the sheen counters on a champion, but that's just good for extra damage anyway. This just seems really cool.
Now, the interesting thing, though, is it is as a spell, so if they have Spell Shroud or Omni Shroud,
Oh, you're
it wouldn't go through it.
right. Yeah, that's a target your champion with Prism Spire Scepter. I'll innervate agility in response. Oh, that's funny. Berlin level 3 is the next one. You want to go over this?
All right, we are going over Crux, Merlin, Brilliant Vestige. She is a 3... God, English, sorry. She is a level 3 champion, assassin human, with 25 health instead of the Merlin and Lorraine's 28. So we know she ain't taking over Lorraine anymore. She has an on enter, as long as you have 8 plus Sheen counters, you may banish a Regalia card from your tail deck. If you do, draw a card and put a preparation counter on the champion.
It's an ethereal
And
slug.
then with 24 Sheen or more at the beginning of your end phase, you may look at target opponent's memory and banish that card until the end of turn. Until the end of that opponent's next turn, they may activate that card. The on enter is cool because, as we'll go over, it looks like we are going to be doing more with the Regalia, as we got kind of spoiled in DTR as far as copying and making more Regalia copies through distortion. The second ability, I'm not sure on, as it's
It's
giving your opponent options to activate a card.
so it sort of is, but you're already. The thing is, right? I think that affects the. I was okay. I have gone through all the emotions with that second ability. So at first I thought it was really bad because it doesn't really do much, and then I thought, okay, well, it's basically use it or lose it. So you just put something that's kind of bad there, and then they have to activate it, right? Or they just lose out on it. And then I realized, wait a second, that card isn't actually in their hand to be able to pay for costs. So they kind of get really screwed over if they're not planning to activate the card that you choose with this. So it could be really strong.
Yeah, that's actually kind of fair. I could see that.
If you can get to 24 Sheen fast-ish against aggro, they just have no real momentum anymore. They just have to play the one card you choose or nothing, basically.
And I guess under those thoughts, it being at the beginning of your end phase trigger is actually kind of huge because then, as long as you maintain 24 Sheen counters, you can continually rip cards from their hand.
Yeah, like it's really not hard. There's nothing that spends Sheen as far as I'm aware, so you're just constantly going to have whatever Sheen you have.
It seems like 24 seems to be our top end for Sheen.
Yeah, I personally I love the fact that it's literally just ethereal slime. I mean, you can use this as a. Is Onsol a class bonus at all? I don't think so, right?
Onsel is not class bonus.
Yeah, so you could literally just use this as, oh, I guess I'll just get an extra thing for the Onsol.
Right.
There's some cool builds with this. I like that they're going in more of a I can do whatever with Crux, instead of just the same normal I Ascension or I Incarnate or I Onsol. Now you have extra things you might want to do finally.
And then our next card is actually Merlin's Onsel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. You can go over it.
All right. So we'll go over this one. It is Materialize the Soul. It is a 6-cost Crux card, action mage spell. As a Merlin bonus with 15 plus Sheen, it costs 3 less to activate, so it essentially becomes a 3-cost. It is slow speed. But the big thing is, as a Merlin bonus, your champion becomes all class types of the target opponent's champion in addition to their other types. Then look at that opponent's material deck. You may materialize a Regalia card from among them, ignoring its elemental requirements. So if you're playing into any other deck that has an additional typing, being able to gain that typing for maybe you're playing some sideboard cards that are like, cool, this is a like Guardian bonus or something that you can bring out. I think it's kind of cool.
I didn't think about that application for it. My entire thing was I thought this card looks sideboard playable at best right now. Kind of like duplicitous replication, because I mean, just being able to take this and steal, like, you're not going to get to 3 and actually this before your opponent brings up Polaris. But if you take out, say, hell, even in the mirror, being able to steal their gear.
I think other cards I look at here is like,
but you can do some crazy things with it.
oh yeah, I think another card I really look at, because when we go over the game change rule, I think another huge benefit to this is like for Luxem Xander, being able to steal Luxera's map would be really interesting.
Yeah, there's certain cards that just, you take some of the utility, some of the more important things, like, against slimes, this feels like I'm going to have a bad time. Because all of a sudden you can kind of figure out exactly what I have underneath my Grail. And then on top of that, you can just steal one of my really good utility pieces. I definitely don't think this is a 4 of, but this might be a playable 1, maybe 2 of in the list.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like it's more of a sideboard card in general, but you could do some cool things. And like you were saying, I think it's really cool that you could plan your sideboard around, hey, there is a lot of this class in the meta? What if I just all of a sudden have this card that I can play now? Like, that's really sick.
Oh yeah.
The other sword, Luminous Quartz. This thing looks sick. It's a 1-cost 2/3 assassin sword in Crux. As long as it's rested, it can't be used for an attack. This is important because its ability is with Sheen 12 or higher. Rest it, remove a prep counter from the champ. As a spell, there's a whole lot going on so far. You deal 1 plus X damage to target unit, or X's number of Sheen counters on that unit. Activate the effect at slow speed. This thing looks cool. It's really thematic. I need to see how it plays, because until I see how easy it is to get Sheen counters everywhere, this card reads as it's a 1-cost 2/3 sword, so it's playable for that.
If 1-cost 2/3 sword is cool, they had to nerf my Onslaught.
Always. No, I think this card looks cool. It's just we have to see what the application really is for it. After that, I can make my real decision and not just doom and gloom.
True.
You want to go over probably the best card I saw spoiled? The Will to Save?
Yeah. So this is going into the starting with the Brilliant Mystique starter deck. They're going to be doing story cards. Basically, haven't played games like Yu-Gi-Oh or Lorcana. Usually in the card arts, they'll depict something happening within the story, and there's usually cards connecting them together. It was actually a really neat thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm actually really glad they're bringing it here for Grand Archive.
I think they did something similar for a Magic set or two, but it's been so long since I played, I can't tell you exactly where. But no,
Let's go over the card.
Yeah.
So we are looking at a 1-cost water slow speed card. It is such an action spell. You may rest your champion. If you do, put a prep counter on it with floating memory. Resting your champion is okay, but definitely being able to generate a prep counter and have floating memory. This is good in every water assassin deck, even though it is slow. I think being able to have more ways to make prep.
This is good in any deck that needs prep, because nothing on this is class locked. It is.
Oh, that's fair.
It is generic float. It is generic get a prep. This is actually crazy. Like, it's kind of niche, but there's been a lot of decks recently that have wanted to splash in some cards that have prepare on them. So being able to just put a generic prep generation that is also just generic float is actually crazy. All right, I will go over the next card, which seems interesting. Proto Key Crest. It's a 0-cost on charge 3 regalia. That's return it to its owner's mat deck and recover 3. I think this card is cool. I love the design space of it, where you bring it out every few turns just to get a constant use. My only thing with it is I don't know how useful it really will be, because you don't really want to bring it out super early, because you want to do more impactful things, and I'm not sure if you want to bring it super late, because again, you want to do more impactful things. So we'll have to kind of see where this falls. I'm so divided on this. What do you think, Selfie?
I think the card is fine for more of a late game where you have nothing else to materialize, so just bringing this out and healing every few turns is fine. My issue is it's a charge 3. I think having to wait 3 turns for what is essentially a recover 3 effect isn't great.
Yeah, you're effectively eating up 1 in every 3 materializations in order to recover 1 on each turn, is what it averages out to.
But I'm sure, as we'll see later.
Sorry, what was that?
I was going to say, as we'll see later with more of the copy cards and the things that can create more of them, I could definitely see them starting to add up, especially if you have multiple of them.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's some cool uses for this. It's just, this is going to be one of those cards where you don't build around it until you realize you have some crazy interaction for it, I feel. Like, this is going to be awful until you're able to break it.
Right.
I think the story implications are cooler with it, though, of, hey, we now have the proto-archive, and I have zero idea what that even means, but I guess we'll find out in this set or next set.
Well, I think they mentioned something, I guess as we'll see later with some of the story cards, is the order of how these worlds are made, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. The next story card we already went into, the Seep into Mind. The next one is Possessed Reaping. You want to go over this?
Yeah, it is a 3-cost Crux card, Possessed Reaping. It is a 4-attack Mage Warrior Sword. So back to Lorraine Merlin, old Merlin. On ally kill, return the killed ally from its owner's graveyard to the field under your control. Rested. It becomes a spirit in addition to its other types. This card is actually, I don't know how I feel about it being a 3/4 attack. It's fine, especially for Crux when you want to do other things in Crux. But I definitely could see it being cool as like, what can we kill that's super big on the opponent's board that we want to take over?
Yeah, like there's some cool things you could do. I think the best thing right now is you can use this to kill a Spirel, and then all of a sudden you're able to constantly activate Spirels as Crux, which is pretty cool. I think it's really thematic. I don't know how good it is. I just feel like there's better things you can do once you hit Crux.
100%. Pendragon's always there.
Yeah, like that's one of the big things is there's just such an abundance of really strong Crux cards. The bar is so much higher than, if I'm playing Neos, I'm okay with getting literally anything that isn't just prevent the next 3 damage to something. Next one's Materialize the Soul.
Which we went over. Return to the Archive.
Yeah, this card's cool. I like this one. It's 2-cost slow speed. You can sack a Regalia to recover 2 and draw a card, and then it has float. I love this card. This is actually really sick. I think there's as much as I hate it, I think now with Looking Glass being $115 or whatever it is, I'm now playing Looking Glass just to sack her. Oh wait, but it has Immortal, doesn't it? Whatever.
It does not.
Oh, it doesn't. It has. Oh, it's just.
It's just Omni Shroud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm 100% just gonna be playing my crazy expensive Regalia just to sack it and get a float.
Surprisingly, I could actually see this being played in Suzaku.
Can you sack the bird once it's flipped? I thought it isn't a Regalia anymore. Is
it not a Regalia anymore? Maybe I'm wrong.
Let me check that one.
It is not. It is an ally. Never mind.
Darn it. There's some cool cards for this, though. Like, there's a lot of weird implications. Being able to sack Regalia, like, I feel like they're playing around with your material deck cards a little bit more this set, which is cool. One thing you can do is if you have a token copy of something off of Excalibur, for example, you can sack the copy to recover 2 and draw a card.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a +1 in a roundabout way. If you have anything where, Tithe Proclamation, right? Like, you just bring up Tithe Proc, and then you play this in order to make that into a +1. It's almost like a cremate in a weird roundabout way.
Mm-hmm. It makes some of the, depending on the matchup, makes some of the Regalias that are like, cool, these are just dead for this game. Like, cool, they actually have some outer use.
Yeah, just also being able to recover 2, it's not much, but for the early game, it's pretty relevant to certain matchups. Like, keeping yourself off lethal is just always good.
Then we'll go over the next card.
Oh, I have a funny nickname for this once you're done.
Alright. It is a Protector at all costs. It is a 5-cost Norm Fast Speed card. It is Merlin bonus. This card is 2 left to activate, so 3 cost. It's an action assassin spell. Summon a Memorite Obelisk token with 2 Sheen counters on it. You may change the target of an attack to that token.
Yeah, this is cool. The nickname I have so far is Cry for Merlin.
True.
It's Cry for help, but you make a new guy off of it. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Unironically, this card seems really solid. Being able to change an attack target is really good into certain matchups where, if you're against Tristan, that unblockable Shadow Strike, anyway. And you get 2 prep out that dying.
It's like Trump said. It's what made them really good into Tristan. It's the same thing, being able to redirect attacks, especially when it's already being forced over, is like super huge. And it summoning an obelisk, that cool, if it dies, cool, I get the Sheen counters off it. 2 Sheen counters.
Yeah, or like, look,
like the 2-2 retaliate.
That's nice. You're gonna do 20 damage to a dude that's gonna let me deal 2 back and get 2 Sheen off of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is really cool card. I like it. The more I think about it, the more I'm on it.
It's definitely a good 2 or 3 of, I would say.
Yeah, it's too good to be a 2 cost, I should say. But 3 cost does feel a little clunky for interaction, but I still really like the card. This is... I love this card so much, and I don't think I'll ever be able to play it responsibly. Duality's Convergence. It is a 5 cost, slow speed Crux card. It costs 2 less to activate if you're Merlin. Each player summons a token copy of each non-distortion regalia they control. Those copies become a distortion in addition to its other types. This does not care about the cost on the card. This just makes copies of them as long as they're not distortions, which is absolutely wild. It's for both players for every single regalia. Don't play this against Gwoja before they flip their Shenju, because then they have 2 Fate Stones. But otherwise, this card just seems so nutty. I mean, everything we were talking about last step with Excalibur is doubled and tripled for this card, because it doesn't care about cost, you just get whatever the hell you want out of it.
This goes back to the Proto Key situation. Like, cool, now I have 2 Proto Keys to heal 6. I have to wait 3 turns, but healing 6 sounds a little bit better. And then again, going back to Return to the Archive, cool, I can start sacking these extra token ones I made.
Yeah, I mean, making your Cheshires bigger, too, is really sick. I mean, making your... my little 2/3 sword that I have, I guess that's a distortion now, too, so now my Cheshire's going to be swinging for 7 naturally or something, right? Like, there's lots of weird... There's so many weird interactions that, until I start playing around with it, I will not know how I feel about it. Other than, this card is hella cool.
This card reads nutty on paper.
It really does. Like, I don't know how to feel about it other than just, like, I want to jam 4 of these, no matter what. I will not win a single game, but I'm going to jam 4 of them in the deck.
It's interesting that most of these Merlin bonuses aren't exclusive to the new Merlin. So, like, this card actually sounds really good in OG Merlin, too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of these cards are just going to be, I'm going to play old Merlin and slap a whole bunch of the new better cards in. Especially because now there's a level 1 Merlin for Merlin bonus stuff.
Yeah, and then also the, the big thing is, of course, like, if we're talking about OG Merlin here, copying the deer, I think is huge.
Is that a regalia? I'm pretty sure most of the allies don't get considered regalia.
I think it is still a regalia ally, I think, all things considered. I think that is the one that still maintains it's a regalia ally.
Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, that's not okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's why you can duplicitous replication, the deer. Yep. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's again, that's just not okay. Want to go over the burb?
The burb. Yeah. Where's my pick? God, Discord. Sorry, Discord wanted to die on me.
Don't do that.
Sure. I'll go over the next 2 cards because they kind of combine.
Yeah.
We are looking at Shardwing Searchlight. It is a 3-cost norm, slow speed, action assassin spell. I get to summon the new token, a Memorite Shardwing token. With Sheen 4+, I get to summon a second one, kind of working like the bird one that lets us summon 2 birds. Yep. Until the end of turn, Memorite objects you control will gain on hit, put a Sheen counter on the hit object. I think this card alone, without knowing what the Memorite bird does, I think is actually good if you're playing a whole Memorite strategy. Giving everything an on-hit, put a Sheen counter, this right here is the card that makes me say, cool, we can probably build a good chunk of Sheen counters in a single turn.
Honestly, I think the token itself is really good.
The token is actually pretty good. It is a, not that it matters, but it's a 3-cost norm token ally ranger Memorite bird with stealth and true sight with 1 attack, 2 HP. It's kind of like a smaller trained hawk that also has stealth. Well, no, doesn't trained hawk have stealth?
No, just
maybe I'm wrong. But this card is, I think, in my opinion, is really good. It's another Cheshire Cat that's just kind of hard to remove. That's harder to remove.
Yeah, this thing just sticks around forever. Like, that's the thing, is this is going to be 3 costs, you get 2 1/2s. They're just going to stick around to just ping down anything your opponent ever wants to play until they cleave or something to actually deal with the whole board. Because I'm, even as a side player, I'm going to play Ethereal Slime and I'll kill a Cheshire. I'm not going to waste my 5/5 True Sight on a Shardling. But no, this is actually really sick. And then I think one thing that's really cool is because the counters getting moved around and all that, you can swing in with like 2 Shardwings at an opponent, for example. And then if they already had one before, just swing in with your champion to be able to move them all back to your mastery and then deal an extra 3 off of it. Like there's a lot of cool implications with all of them getting the Sheen counters on the hit thing. We have a new furry card. Furry alert here. We got Dormouse and Foreman. This card's really cool. It's a 3-cost 2/2 that on enter if your champion has no prep, you get a prep. It's super simple. Oh, and of course the typing does sort of matter. It's an Assassin Tamer Animal Mouse. I wish this was another one of those animal humans for synergy reasons. But the fact that you can... Again, this is another card that gets prep that is not class locked at all. So you have yet another way to at least get that first bit of prep for whatever reason you need. And being a 3-cost 2/2 is very reasonable stats. It dies easily, but being able to just clear stuff when you need to is really good.
I think this card is actually okay. I mean, it's not amazing, but no. I think it being if your champion has no prep counters on them, gain a prep counter, I think is good for the champions that can't make prep on their own, aka, talk about my Wind CL deck, for example. But I think it also helps into like the Tristan matchup that could play 1 or 2 of these, like, oh, cool, I got Staggering Strike. I need to rebuild prep counters ASAP. It's not bad.
Yeah, decks that just want to like keep cycling through their prep cards is also pretty cool. This card is not exciting, but I feel like it's a very good card to exist. You know what I mean? Where it just being there in the format is good for wanting to play. We've seen a lot of cards like Immolation Trap where you want to have that little bit of prep to get them online. This is a card that will do that.
Oh, yeah.
Next card, Crystalline Reality.
Crystalline Reality is a 2-cost action assassin spell slow speed card with Merlin bonus prepare 1. Choose 1 if Crystalline Reality was prepared. I get to choose both. I get to summon a Memorite Blade. My champion gains True Sight for the turn, or I get to draw a card in my memory. I think this card is actually kind of nutty, all things considered. It is a prepare 1. So obviously I think you're really going to want to prepare 1 for this. Gaining a Memorite Blade and drawing a card is probably usually what that's going to be for. I could see using True Sight in some niche cases, but 100% the Memorite Blades are super good, and then the drawing card in memory is just, cool, this is Cerulean, it replaces itself.
Yeah, no, this card is actually nutty, and I think one thing you're not considering is we have Cheshires running everywhere. So your opponent might think their Cheshires are one of the safer options to put the Sheen counters on, and then, anyway, I'm going to get True Sight now. Because remember, your champion needs to actually hit the thing to move the Sheen counters around. If your allies kill it, you don't actually get the Sheen counters, which is where some of that kind of comes into play. But being able to say, cool, I'm going to get the sword and I'm going to get True Sight, or just I have my the 1 but really 0 cost 3/3 sword, and then you can get True Sight drawn to memory, is really solid. Like, this is just a more flexible Exposed Darkness, effectively, is what I'm thinking it is. Or it becomes... I think
specifically for Merlin.
Yeah. I don't think this card is very good otherwise, but in Merlin specifically, this card is cool. I love it. Shattered Hope. This is finally another fast speed card. 3-cost fast speed assassin spell, Merlin bonus cost 1 less. Glimpse 1, draw 1, till end of turn, allies enter with an extra Sheen counter on them. It's good. Responding to your opponent activating any kind of ally and then forcing Sheen counters on stuff is pretty good. Going neutral, I think the fact that this goes neutral is really important. If this didn't go neutral, I don't think this card would even be playable, to be honest. But Glimpse 1, draw 1, and then you can put Sheen everywhere is pretty sick.
100%. Being able to sift through your deck as Merlin is awesome, but then, again, making them with additional Sheen counters, I think is just huge, considering that seems to be the strategy we're going for initially.
Yeah, like I think you just need to have extra ways to put sheen counters on things. I'm not sure if that card will actually see play in the deck, but it's definitely a consideration if there's more kind of swarmy strategies. Could be an interesting pick if there's a lot of mirrors going on where people are playing the bird cards and making a lot of golems, etc.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah, we have a new destruction card.
Yeah. 2 costs. Converge Reflections. It is a slow speed Ashen Cleric spell. As an additional cost to activate this card, sacrifice a non-token item or weapon. Destroy target item or weapon with memory cost of 0 or reserve cost of 4 or less. If that object was a distortion, draw a card into memory. I think this card is okay. I think it being a cool, I have to sacrifice my own to kill something else kind of feels bad. But maybe between duplicate, the replication
I have a
card,
counterpoint for that one.
hit me with it.
This can eat up your forest cakes and your nomadic charms and such as the cost.
Stuff that is kind of dead on board.
Yeah, I just thought about that. This can eat up your power cell. This just eats up whatever random thing you have lying around. This actually is a little bit better than I thought.
It has to be non-token, so not like the power cell, but like the other things you mentioned.
Yeah, but any of the cakes that are just sitting around is pretty good. You are right that not being able to the power cell is a little hard, but I think this is still very solid. I think very specifically this wants to eat your Excalibur.
Yeah. Which is actually... okay, now that you mention Excalibur, it's like, oh, that actually changes significantly for me.
Plus, I think having the main deck weapon in the deck where your champion needs to do all the attacking is probably important.
Right.
Yeah, this deck feels like it's going to be building itself pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think this card is fine. It's another destruction card, but being in... Actually, holy crap. This is a norm card that can pop Censor and Tariff, or Nullifying Lantern and such. This goes in wind, this goes in water, this goes in a lot of stuff. Overlapping Visages. 4 cost slow. This is the card where they're just, your big brother Edwarding the 2 Alices. 4 cost slow speed. Each player sacks an ally if at least one non-distortion ally and at least one distortion ally were sacked this way. You summon a Lost Being token. Importantly, we have no clue what a Lost Being token is right now, which is a little annoying. But I think this card's fine. If the Lost Being token is even just like, oh, I have a 2/2, I think this card is playable.
Yeah, again, it's kind of hard to say how good this is without knowing what the Lost Being token does specifically. But it being like in Yu-Gi-Oh, being a Share the Pain type card isn't bad.
Yeah, we see this effect in Magic a lot. Importantly, we did get one of these effects in the last set that people just didn't know or talk about because it was a 5 cost. Which, why are you playing that? But this, I think, is somewhat playable. Being removal is cool. The only thing is, to get that Lost Being, you have to be playing both Distortion and non-Distortion allies to guarantee you're actually going to see it, because the way that this should work, I'm not certain because they haven't really released the rules FAQ yet, but if you're the active player at the time, then you technically would choose which ally gets sacrificed first. So your opponent can kind of play around it a little bit. But that's kind of a niche thing. I think the card is really cool. I just don't think it's going to see a ton of play, just being a 4 cost. Each player sacks a guy.
I think especially for Merlin, I think this card is nice, just because, sacrificing to get those sheen counters, your opponent gets to choose their card, which is unfortunate. But I think still being able to sacrifice 2 allies and regain those sheen counters on the 2 allies for something like a Memory Obelisk that probably has a few, and then getting rid of something else after they attacked is kind of, I think in my opinion, it's okay. The 4 cost is kind of steep, but I think it's an okay card.
Actually, now you bring that up, that's worse, because if they sack something with a sheen counter on it, you don't get those sheen counters. You only get them if your champion hits the thing.
Oh, it's not how... Oh, maybe I'm just misunderstanding. Damn.
Yeah, because the Mastery forces them to get moved only if your champion is the one that kills the ally or hits the champion. So,
Yeah, actually.
I don't think this card, like, now that I say that out loud, I don't think this card's playable. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, this
Went
is
up and
I'm
going
going
down
to lose
again.
all of my stuff. I think this card could see play in other decks, but definitely not Merlin.
Yeah. We got Stand Before the Queen, which is a 2-cost fast water card. Let's go fast water cards. It is an assassin spell reaction. Prevent the next 2 damage to be dealt to a target unit this turn, which is actually good. It's a smaller deflecting edge for any damage. For Sheen 8, the first damage is prevented. The first time damage is prevented from being dealt to a unit this way. That unit gains stealth until the end of turn, unless an opponent's pay 2 with 8 Sheen counters. This card, or that is okay. I mean, it's kind of like the Merlin one that lets to create a ominous shadow unless they pay 2. Make for at the very least, it's forcing them to put cards down. I could see this being played as like the first thing you do to see if they want to pay cards. And it's also class bonus floating memory, which is cool.
I think this card is terrible. So this is one of the first cards I'm really down on because this is just diffusive block with extra steps. It's you don't get the discount that diffusive block does, so it's which you rarely do with diffusive block anyway. And the Sheen 8 thing is fine, but the way I would love if it could be played the way you're saying it, with that Sheen 8 ability. But that only triggers, that's a delayed trigger effect of when the damage gets dealt, so they can choose when they want to try to pay for it or not, which is... it is... Okay, so here's the thing. It's basically a one-time terraforming if you have that, which is fine. I just think that there's better things to be doing. This will definitely see a lot of play in starter deck tournaments, obviously, but other than that, I don't really see this card being played. I could be super wrong, and it becomes like one of the better protection spells in the game, but I just don't see it.
It's a meh one at best.
Yeah.
I think it being float is kind of okay. It's kind of what kind of balances out.
Yeah, being float makes anything playable. I just don't see it being especially strong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I get to talk about one of my more favorite cards from the Rico deck. Quiet Refraction. The image you see here is going to be awful because they forgot to put it on the actual screen, so Syl had to just hold the card out and put it on a little stand. But this is a card that makes the Sheen counters actually easy to get fast. 2-cost Fantasia, Quiet Refraction. On enter, draw a memory, put 2 Sheen counters on your fractured memories. And then whenever your champion levels up, put 2 Sheen counters on your fractured memories. Super simple, and I love it. It replaces itself. It gets minimum 2 Sheen counters, even if you're already level 3. And if you hit this early enough, you hit multiple of these, you can get a lot of Sheen counters really quick.
This card is definitely a 4-of in the Merlin. If you're doing the Sheen counters, I think this card is a 4-of for Water Merlin.
I think you just have to play it regardless in the Water Merlin if you're on the level 2, the Assassin level 2. Mm-hmm. Because this lets you use that draw effect. So you can actually go, you get a little bit influence.
This alone makes that draw effect a -4, which is huge.
Yeah, I mean, plus whatever you had for level 1, right? Like, this seems actually pretty solid. If you play 2 of these,
you're just ramping.
yeah, the only downside is if you're on turn 1, you see these, you are missing out on the Sheen counters for that initial on enter because you have to hit that level 1 first. But otherwise, this card seems really strong.
Oh yeah.
What's the next one? Oh, we have new art for Shattered, or we have the Shattered Hope next, and that was the same one that we had. New artwork for
These are going over story. Yeah.
We got the wheelchair card next.
Yeah, let's go. All right. Overlapping Visages. I think this is this not the card we already went over? Yeah, this card we went over. Just new art. Again, the Merlin Rico deck has reprints of the cards from the main deck, just going with their story beats. This one shows Alice and some person, I don't remember what her name was. I think they mentioned on one of the Merlin cards, trying to fuse their souls together.
So it's Alice and her reflection, trying to merge her sister and her reflection's sister, which is her sister's reflection. Anyway, I'll live that story.
Which this one we already went over too.
Is it? I am getting these so
Yeah.
confused. I thought we. No, I think you're right on that one though.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's so many Obelith cards. I thought we got another one. No, you are correct. We did go over that one. What is the next card here? Find the
And the
Lost.
Lost.
There we go. Finally.
Find the Lost is a 2-cost norm card. It is a 2-cost attack assassin sword card. Prepare 1. As long as Find the Lost is prepared, it has unblockable. This card is fine. Being an attack card is good, but it being unblockable, I think, is kind of nice.
I think there's some decks that are going to want to play it. I don't know if Merlin's going to be one of them. It might.
But things like Tristan could play this, I think, is kind of nice.
Yeah, a prep 1 attack is always good. The only thing is, like, is this going to see more play than Theming Cut for the same exact slot? Right?
No. No. I could see this being a sideboard card as, like, cool. There's a lot of, Tristan Mirror. I could see this card being really good in, like, a Tristan Mirror.
Yeah.
Um,
No, because it can still redirect the attack.
That's fair. I don't know.
It's so
My
awkward.
brain is
I
dead this
think
morning.
this card is useful. It's just there's so many weird exceptions to it, right?
Yeah.
I think the card is cool. I'm glad it exists. More like weird unblockable one-ofs are good, but I think the card's fine. Ooh. Yeah, I get to talk about the new Spirit Blade. I got to talk about the 2 cards I want to talk about. So this is a 2-cost Crux card. It's an attack with Prepare 1 again. This one only hits for 2, but it gets +1 attack for every 4 Sheen counters on your faction memories. So if you have 12 Sheen counters on it, then you can hit for 5. And then on hit, if it was prepared, you double how many Sheen counters you have, and then you put this back into your memory.
This is huge.
I'm going to do this every single turn for the rest of the game until you're dead.
All I know is this is the other card that's a 4 of besides Pendragon.
Yeah, I think this card is actually insane. Like, this also means I'm tempted to run, was it Spirit Blessing? The one where you return a Regalia to your material deck, and then you wake up your champion and draw a card.
Yeah.
Because if you find 2 Terminus and what the card I just said was, then...
The Spirit Blessing.
Yeah, Spirit's Blessing. I will never remember the name of that card for as long as I live. But 2 Terminus and a Spirit Blessing is a lot of damage. You need the prep for it, obviously, so you're going to want a decent number of prep generators, but that shouldn't be too hard to get to, 2 prep, and then an extra one on the next turn. Like, that's really not as bad.
And just the amount of Sheen you can generate is crazy.
Yeah, like, you don't even need too much. If you're able to find 2 copies of that Fantasia on level 1, then that's 4 Sheen counters initially, plus an extra 8. So, yeah, that's the 12 I was just talking about right there. So you hit with this once, and you get to 24, and oh look, now your Merlin, oh my god, now your Merlin level 3 is chickering. Oh my god. This
card is actually nuts.
I love it. I think this might be, don't quote me on this might be stronger than Ascension if you find it early enough.
Oh, it's it's something that Merlin's needed is just more damage.
Yeah.
This is a good way to jack up damage output. Because there's no limit to how strong it can be. If you have 2,000 Sheen counters, boom. Which, if you're getting 2,000, that's a different problem, but...
Importantly, not class bonus. I kind of wish it was, because I feel like, again, we're just going to go to the old Crux Merlin and just jam this thing in there.
Yeah, this is 100% would be a card played in Crux OG Merlin.
Because you only
especially
need
when you can buff it.
1 for the mastery.
Right.
This card is really cool. And then, we got the CSR, if you get lucky enough in your Rico box.
Should be me. I want it. I'm going to buy 8 of them.
Okay. I'm probably going to get 2, just because there's a lot of good playables, including some other ones that we're going to be coming up here. But honestly, like, I'm going to be down on a lot of cards. This deck just looks super fun. I don't care if it's good or not. Next section of the reveals.
Which is the last 2 story beats.
Yes.
Undeniable Truth, a 1-cost norm assassin skill fast beat card. As an additional cost to activate this card, sacrifice an ally. Draw a card, then put a preparation counter on your champion. This card to me is awesome. Huge. It replaces itself. It gains you a prep counter at sacrificing an ally. If you're playing wind, sacrificing windmill engineers and stuff, I think it's a really nice card.
This dodges Stifle Traps to fast speed and Norm, though. Like, we have to realize this is a card that we've been needing for a while in the game, because I was super high on Decompose because it was a 2-cost fast speed sack outlet that did basically nothing. And this card goes neutral, and then, sort of, you sack an ally for it, but if you're getting use out of the ally, then it goes neutral, and then puts a prep counter. The prep counter
example like a dungeon guide.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to dodge a stifle on your dungeon guide is giant, right? Like, there's so much use from this card. It gets a prep counter for some stuff if your deck needs it, but this is honestly just a really good generic staple. It's definitely better than the wind ritual.
Yeah, 100%.
In fact, this probably goes into a lot of wind decks. Like, this will probably go into Wind Tristan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just really solid. It goes in... Yeah, I love this card. And then the very last card is Another Beginning. It's Beseech the Winds and Norm, sort of. It materializes a Regalia with memory cost 0 from your material deck. You cannot level up at all with it, and only hits Regalias that cost 0. The card's still really good, though. Like we were saying before, the Proto Key, this is still just good, right?
Right. This is like a 1 or 2 of, I could see. Like, it's not as good as Beseech, but it doesn't have to be. Especially with being Norm, giving other decks opportunity to materialize Regalia earlier. Like, especially if you materialize like a Censor or a Nullifying Lantern, being able to do that outside of your material phase, I think is actually huge.
Yeah, I mean, you have so much utility with this. I mean, I want to play it in a lot of decks, to be honest. Like you're saying, probably not anything that would just run Beseech the Wind, so Wind is probably out. But there's some water decks I could see that would definitely want to run this, some fire. I could be very greedy and put this into Norm Slimes for no reason.
True.
The only thing is the 0-cost Regalia are typically a little bit underpowered, just because you don't want to be able to do crazy things with them. But, I mean, worst case, being able to put out some kind of specific backup charger. Like, GCR with this is not the best play, but being able to do whatever you need with it is pretty alright. I think it's much better to put out specific hate pieces, though. Just like you were saying. Like, being able to level up and that same sort get out of Censor is super strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it for the Rico decks, right?
Yep. And then we're actually going on to the whole some of the Phantom Monarch spoilers we have received.
Yeah, so now we get to talk about new Alice 1 and 2 and the Mastery.
Which, surprisingly enough, as the Crux player, I'm actually more excited about the Alice than I am the Merlin.
It looks so fun.
Right now. Yeah.
I'll have you go over the champion.
Me and Ryan were talking about this.
Yeah, you go over the champion, Alice, and I'll go over the Mastery, because it's kind of a weird one to explain.
Alright, so we got level 1, Alice, Distorted Queen. The cards will pop up in the storyboard order. Basically, Merlin was merging Alice with her distortion self. It seems like during that mix-up, it failed, per se. We don't know if it's failed, or if maybe that's what they wanted.
Oh, so this is the distortion Alice.
Yeah.
I think it did succeed. I'm not sure what's going on with it. I think there's, like, weird timeline shenanigans going on.
Yeah. But as far as that goes, she's a 1-cost cleric distortion human. She has 19 health. On enter, we gain the Phantasmorgia Mastery. I might have said that wrong. Then you put 2 haunt counters on it, which is kind of like the Sheen counters. It's the same thing Alice wants to do, but with haunt counters. And then as a lineage release, you can remember 2 plus X, which is X for the amount of cards in Alice's lineage, which you'll read later with Alice 2.
Really
this is basically a better Cursebreaker Diana.
More or less. We're going to see some cool things with it. I do believe you said that right. Phantasmagoria. So, this card is super weird. So, this is a Mastery Cleric spell. I never noticed the spell part of the Mastery, which is weird as all hell. So, importantly, it says non-Spectre cards in your graveyard lose all abilities. So that means float including. So you have no way to get float outside the Spectre floats.
No 3 visits.
Yeah, no 3 visits. I didn't even think about that one. That's also pretty relevant. There's a lot of like weird interactions with that. But importantly, the actual parts of this. Whenever a Spectre ally you control dies, it gets another haunt counter. At the beginning of your end phase, so at the end of your turn, you put everything from your grave on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, you mill cards equal to the number of your haunt counters. So
Oh, I got a lot to say about this.
you can cycle out your graveyard every single turn equal to the number of your haunt counters. Which is why you're not allowed to get just infinite flow out of this, because otherwise this card would be nutty. However, there's a lot of specters with float, so it's still pretty nutty.
Oh, dude, me and Ryan were talking a lot about this last night. It's Grand Archive's first recursive strategy, but as we were talking about in the beginning of this DTR season, a specific card that I was trying to make work just didn't feel good. I think sees amazing play in this deck specifically, and that's Lure the Abyss.
Yeah, no, Lure the
Being
Abyss
able to set
finally
up our
has a
graveyard
really
better.
strong use. I mean, and we'll also see when we go over more cards with this. The specters, you are kind of, because of the way a lot of the specters are worded, and how some of these cards are going to work, you're going to play a lot of different element specters inside this list.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, you want to go over the Alice level 2?
Yes, mommy. Sorry, I want this card. I want the CSR for this. Alice, Phantom Monarch. She is a level 2 Umbra champion. She is an anomaly human. We have no idea what the anomaly typing does specifically, but she's an anomaly human. She's not a guardian, cleric, or anything like that. So we're unsure. She's Alice lineage, so you have to use the Alice 1 from PTM or from...
Or DTR, potentially.
Or DTR.
I think that's incorrect.
Yeah. She has the inherited effect of whenever you play an advanced element card while there were no curse cards in her lineage, deal 7 unpreventable to Alice. It's a huge drawback, but honestly, having level 2 Umbra with some of the curses we have, I think this inherited effect is probably never going to happen unless...
Oh, no, it will.
People like Exercise Curse.
So the big problem with it is the very first curse you play will... There's no non-advanced element curses, and I was just thinking about that. So you're going to be taking the 7 no matter what.
Mm-hmm. And it is unpreventable. That's true. So that's why I'm obviously hoping if we can get some non-Umbra curses, which may also help Cursebreaker Diana.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to. I think they're going to be... That's why they had us be a level 2 to get it. But there is a new curse that does not have a negative that does recover. Quick spoiler for it, so it does help it out a little bit. I know we were talking about running Umbra Sight with this last night, but to put that underneath, you do in fact need to take the 2 unpreventable from the Umbra Sight plus the 7 from this. So you're taking 9 damage, effectively meaning if you had 13 damage marked on you before, you are just dead, right? But the new Alice 1 means you can recover. It's so weird though, because the Alice 1 is basically... Because it's lineage release, it won't count itself as part of the number of cards in the lineage. So you're going to be recovering the spirit, plus the actual champion on top, so the level 2. So that's 4 cards. Or sorry, recover 4. If you happen to have a curse underneath, which you're going to want, you get to recover 5. So,
which is fine. You're getting rid of most of the damage. We also have some of the other curses like Malevolent Bow.
Yeah. There's some
that also recover 9 at most.
Yeah, there's some really cool curse synergy cards, because I've had a couple lists before. Some like Rye of you just play like curse good stuff, you don't rely on like Cursebreaker. I was trying that in just normal Umbra Diana with Duskstalker, and it was actually not a bad little engine. And now I guess there's a reason why that was a playable engine before, of now you have a way to negate the downsides almost entirely. But do remember, if you run out of curses in the lineage, you are boned and you're going to be taking 7 again.
That, and then also, that's what I'm saying, like, Exercise Curse is probably a scary one to have. That might come back in the format.
Yeah.
If this card sees any prevalent play.
Yeah, and also, because of the level 1, because of the Mastery, Exercise Curses is not that great for you, because the float won't matter. So you're going to want to play some of the other cards that can get rid of your own curses if you're going to be
Unless we're going to get some more curse float allies, kind of like how Diana and Tristan have some allies that when they die they become curses.
Yeah, but the float won't matter because if they're not specters, you lose out on the float.
That's what I'm saying. We still haven't seen a whole bunch of the specters,
Yeah, we might see
but
some
that
new
is something
ones.
that we could see,
Speaking
which
of
would be nice if we do.
speaking of new specters, we got a new specter turtle. This card's cool. It's a drifting abyss shell, 2 cost 2/1 Alice bonus on enter, put a haunt counter on your Phantasmagoria. It's a warrior specter animal turtle. I think this card's
Hey,
cool.
turtle.
Uh, the water might be the way to play it. You have lots of ways to self mill, etc., to get you kind of started, quote unquote. Fire might still be good because of the sacking. We'll have to see how that plays out, but I think this card's really good. Uh, we have another Spectre in Fire.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Rose Winged Hollow. It is a 3-cost fire 2/2 warrior spectre ally with Alice bonus and element bonus. You may pay 2, banish this card from your graveyard, put a haunt counter on your Phantasmagoria. Then, if there are 6 or more haunt counters on it, choose a spectre ally you control gets +2 until the end of turn. This is not bad. It's just, like I said, unfortunate not having access to Ryo the Abyss, unless they plan on unbanning that card with the
No.
release of Phantom Hearts.
No. They could. They could. I doubt it, though. It's just too strong of a card in all
Yeah.
reality. And then we're getting more Spectres for it. It just seems really strong.
But again, going back to the water conversation, I think Lure of the Abyss is instantly a really good card for any of
100%.
these.
100%.
Mhm.
We also have a new backup charger, again. Onieric Key. 0 cost, Alice bonus, on enter, put a haunt counter on your Phantasmagoria. Pay 4, banish it, draw to memory. So pay 4 is a little bit steeper, as we've seen with stuff like Inspirecrest, but still very playable.
Especially with getting a haunt counter, this card is fine.
We have our first reanimation spell in the game, Spectral Haunting.
Yeah! It is a 6-cost Umbra card, Alice bonus, slow speed, Cleric Spectre spell. This card costs 4 less to activate if it targets a Spectre card, which is probably what you're going to be targeting anyway. Return target ally from your graveyard to the field. It becomes ephemeral. Good card. Again, a reanimating card is good. But I guess my question to the other judge here is, would this go over class bonus? So, like, if I was bringing out the Crux Spectre, would I be allowed to do that under this one?
Yeah. So this is just bringing stuff into play directly. You don't need to activate the cards, so you don't need any requirements for it. You can bring out, because technically it's any ally, so you can pay the full 6. You can bring out Neos Elemental with this if you really want to. Nothing's stopping you.
No, this card is really cool.
I love this thing. This is insane. I love it. Gonna be going over some of these next ones rapid fire because this has gone a little longer than expected. Maledictum Vitae. This is the new curse I was talking about. So upon resolution, it goes into target champion's lineage. Whenever it's put into a lineage, that champion's controller recovers 4. And then Alice bonus, element bonus. Pay 2 and banish another card from your grave to put it from your grave on the bottom of target champion's lineage. So this is one of the few ways you have in order to not take that activation damage trigger with Alice 2. So if you happen to have this in your graveyard, you can pay 2, banish something, and then just put this underneath. So all of a sudden you now have a curse in your lineage. You get to recover 4 from that trigger, and you're good to go. Also, I could see some really cool ways where if you have multiple of these, or not even multiple, if you're able to remove the Vitae with any kind of fast speed curse removal, you could then still activate from hand, because it is fast speed technically. Or if you have this in the graveyard, again, from just removing it, you can activate it again, recover 4 again. So there's some really cool recover kind of loops with this, which we haven't really seen with champions before, where you're going to be... we've kind of seen it with Jin, but this, I feel, is going to be to an even greater extent, because your Jin is just, you stay away from that 35 damage at the end of your turn. This is, I'm going to be fluctuating my health 1,000 times a turn.
And then also with Phantasmagoria, you're always going to have cards in the discard for this.
Yeah. And you might just mill it, which is probably the ideal scenario where, oh, look, I just milled the card I need to get everything started. Anyway.
Because it is a put, so this can even be... Oh, it is element bonus. Never mind. Ignore that comment.
But importantly, it is a Spectre card, so it does work exactly as described. And also, it's a Spectre card. You can mill it off of Lure the Abyss. Card's crazy.
All right. We get to go over the cool card. This card I'm actually kind of excited for. It is an 8-cost Umbra. It is our big card, Jabberwocky, Calamity's Call. It is a unique ally, Anomaly Spectre Beast Dragon. This is currently the second Anomaly card outside of the Alice Champion. You can pay 2 to banish a Spectre ally card from your graveyard, recover 2, and Jabberwocky gets +2 until the end of turn. As long as a player doesn't control an object named Vorpal Sword, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Jabberwocky. It is a 4-attack, 3 HP card. We currently do not have or know what the Vorpal Sword is. Assumedly, it's a Divine Relic. Yeah.
It's probably a Divine Relic. We'll see. But this card is insane. I don't know if it's good, but it looks crazy. It feels crazy. It reads crazy. And then you just cheat out with
it is a Spectre.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's not once a turn to get the +2 attack and recover 2 either.
Right.
Like, you could just do this
as long as you can maintain that. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna recover 6 and swing for 10. I'm gonna do that really cool every turn now.
It being 8 may be steep, but I think out with a lot of the... I mean, especially for playing Fire, we have access to Infernal Templar. Just bring this out with Infernal Templar, and I think you're sitting good.
It doesn't quite work that way, because Templar needs to cheat out 3 costs or less. They did plan for this.
Is it? Oh, you're right.
Yeah. That's what Jocolot was talking about in our Discord earlier, last night.
Oh. I mean, 8 costs is kind of steep, but again, I think for what it provides, I think it's huge.
I mean, being able to do this on level 2, like, that's the thing, is level 2 champions, you typically have more cards in hand anyway. So I love seeing that we can just end on a level 2 champion and be happy with the cards we can play finally. Because we haven't really seen that. It's usually get to level 1 to get class bonus and some kind of effect, or go to level 3 to get your actual, like, full gameplay. We haven't been able to stay at level 2 before, so that's really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So now we get to some of the cool little utility stuff. We got a new card for CL. I will let you take over this one, because I know you like CL.
Yeah. So, I actually really like this card too. Visage's Strike. It is a 2-cost Wind Guardian attack spell under CL bonus. It is a 2-attack. On hit, if you have 2 or less omens, banish Visage's Strike and put an omen counter on it. I think Wind kind of struggles a lot with making omens. I think this card is just really nice as a 2-of in the deck to kind of help ramp your omens.
Yeah, being a 2-cost, 2-attack attack is kind of awkward and bad. But as in terms of just omen ramp, I think you just have to play it.
Yeah.
Refreshing Charge. This is something that our local Diana players we talked about in the Discord last night. So basically this just replaces Chain Charge, because Chain Charge is such a laughable negate that you just kind of disrespect it all the time. But being Recover instead of the negate is probably just better, and having Float is really good. It just kind of does a lot of things for the deck. It's kind of just an important piece because there's not a lot of tools.
It's huge. I like the card personally.
No, it's definitely a good card. I just feel like it's not a super relevant effect, but just stat-wise, this card existing is very good.
Mm-hmm. Then we got the last spoiler, or I don't think it's the last one, but we got March On, which is a 1-cost Norm Warrior Chessman command for 1. It has the command Chessman tag, which means Chessman's perform the attack. It is Floating Memory. It is another card for Chessman to finally have a card outside of the water one that we got.
Yeah, so we're probably going to be seeing at least enough stuff to make a Chessman deck. I honestly have no clue what we're going to be doing with this, because the old Alice... Maybe we'll see 2 different Alice decks, to be honest. Because
one for Chessman, one for Spectre.
Yeah, because the current level 1, as you can see, removes all the abilities from graveyards for non-Spectres, so this wouldn't work in that list.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. It has cool implications. And then we got kind of a sleeper spoiler with Mirrored Confrontation. We got introduced for the Curio foils. But this card's pretty cool. This means you want to be playing level 3 decks. 2-cost slow speed, ranger skill, action, norm. Each player can reveal a champion with base level 3 from the material deck. Each player that does draws a memory, recovers 2. So, this is just a cool little go neutral card that lets you recover. And, yeah. It's not like a crazy card, but I'm considering it for some decks. It's definitely an interesting one. The only thing that's a downside is that once you hit level 3, this don't do anything.
Show off the new curio. Obviously, this being the second type of new art for half as silver players specifically, the curio foil is more like Pokemon Shattered foils, or as they call it, fractured. But
Yeah, or like
it's
Starlight foil in Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, it's definitely cool. I don't think it's worth more points than a normal foil, though. In terms of
we'll have to see. Yeah.
I know that's something that they were talking about in DJB, but we'll kind
Oh,
of figure
okay.
that out. But yeah, that should be the very last spoiler. We have the other rule stuff that I went over in the news cycle that I did, which should be coming out before this list. We'll see. I'm recording them both the same morning. But we got some new event packs, got some new art for that, showed off there. Other than that, we got the new rules change, etc. There's a lot of stuff to talk about for this dev stream, which is why I had to split it up into 2 different videos. But that should be everything. I hope everyone has a good rest of their day.
Stay safe, you guys.